Okay, let's start to do some past paper questions. This question here is actually from a C1 module, June 2009, question 6. Okay, the equation x squared plus 3px plus x equals to 0. Okay, I'm gonna separate the value and the x and 1 here. Okay, cool. And the p is non-zero constant. Okay, so p won't be equals to 0 and has an equals roots. What does that mean? Means that b squared minus 4ac is equals to 0. Okay, b squared 3p squared minus 4 times 1 times p is equals to 0. And 9p squared minus 4p equals to 0. P times 9p minus 4 would be 0. Therefore, the critical value of p should be equals to 0 or 4 over 9. Because when 9p minus 4 equals to 0, 9p equals to 4, and p would be equals to 4 over 9, and here's the value for 4 over 9. However, since p is a non-zero constant, p cannot be 0, okay? So the final answer, p would be equals to 4 over 9. And there you have it for the final answer. So I guess there's 1 mark to showing the discriminants, and 1 mark for the method mark, and 1 mark for getting the critical values, and 1 mark for the final.
Okay, let's carry on with the question 2 in the past paper. For the part A, they want us to express this equation here in a form of x plus p squared plus q. Okay, so first thing first we have to do is to separate x squared plus 4kx, plus 3 plus 11k. Okay, I'm going to hold this for a while. I'm not going to touch it. I will just copy down to the next step. Big brackets, x plus 4k divided by 2 will be 2k squared minus 2k squared, close the big brackets, plus 3 plus 11k. I just copy down this whole thing down here. Okay, after that, x plus 2k squared minus 4k squared, close the big brackets, plus 3 plus 11k. And the final step would be x plus 2k squared minus 4k squared plus 11k plus 3. And that will be in the form of k plus p bracket squared plus q. The p would be 2k and q would be minus 4k squared plus 11k plus 3. And for the part B, given that the equation f of x equals to 0 has no real roots, what does that mean? It means b squared minus 4ac would be smaller than 0 because it's at no real roots. Here's the key point for the question. And find the set of the positive value of k. Okay, so all we have to do is to substitute b squared minus 4ac into this equation. B would be 4k squared minus 4, 1, and times 3 plus 11k, smaller than 0. Next step would be 16k squared minus 12, there's 4 times 1 times 3 would be minus 12, minus 4 times 1 times 11 would be minus 44. Okay, smaller than 0. And next step we have to do is to find the critical value of k. So what I'm doing now is to assume that this equation here would be equals to 0 first. I will ignore this equation for a while. 16k squared minus 44k minus 12 equals to 0. And the next step would be 4 times 4k plus 1, close bracket, and another bracket of k plus 3 equals to 0. So you can immediately know the critical value of k would be equals to minus 1 over 4 or 3. I mean, this one should be negative 3. Okay, so when you know the critical value, all you know is there's 2 points here, the line graph. Minus 1 over 4 will be here and 3 will be here, and all you have to do is to focus on the sign. Substitute any value that is between minus 1 over 4 and 3, such as 0. When you put 0 into this equation here, it would be minus 12, and minus 12 is a negative value, so I will put negative sign here, because when I put any number between these two values, I will get a negative value. Okay, so if I put a value that is greater than 1 over 4, let's say negative 1, okay? If I put negative 1 into it, then I will get the number of 16 times negative 1 squared, which is 1. 1 times 16 would be 16 minus 12 minus 44 times minus 1, which would be the answer of 48. So, and 48 would be greater than 0, which is positive sign. Okay, and if I put the value greater than 3, let's say 4, okay? Then I would get the value of 68 in this equation, and 68 would be a positive value, so I would just put positive sign here. Okay, and next step, I will go back to this equation here, this one here. Okay, they want me to find the set of value that is smaller than 0. What does that mean? So only the value that is smaller than 0 would be accepted, so would be somewhere around here. Only this range would be negative. So the answer would be minus 1 over 4 smaller than k smaller than 3. That would be the answer for part B. And for the part C, given that k equals to 1, okay, k equals to 1, and sketch a graph of y equals to f of x, showing the coordinate of any point which the graph cross the coordinate axis. Okay, so all we have to do is to make a graph, y-axis, and this one will be x-axis. Okay, so all we know is the turning point, as we have get to this form in part A. Okay, so if I substitute k equals to 1, I will get the answer of x plus 2 squared plus 10, and that would be the f of x. So the turning point would be minus 2 and 10. Minus 2 and 10 would be somewhere around here. That would be the turning point. For the y coordinate, if I put 0 value into the x here, 0 plus 2 would be 2, 2 squared would be 4, 4 plus 10 would be 14. So the y coordinate would be around here. And the graph should look like this. Like this. Okay, so for the marking, for part A, 1 mark for the method, 1 mark for working, and 1 mark for final. And for the part B, 1 mark for the discriminants, 1 mark here, 1 mark for the method, working, 1 mark for the critical value, and 1 mark for the range. Okay, for the part C, it carries 3 marks. Okay, so 1 mark for the turning point, okay, getting this right, and 1 mark for the curve shape, and 1 mark for the correct y coordinate. Okay, let's carry on with question 3. This question here is actually from C1, May 2010, question 4. And the first part, they want me to show x squared plus 6x plus 11 to be written as x plus p squared plus q. So first thing first, x squared plus 6x, I'm going to separate this 2, plus 11 And next up would be big brackets, x plus 6 divided by 2 would be 3, so it would be positive 3. Close the bracket, square, minus 3 squared would be equals to 9, so minus 9. Close the brackets, plus 11. Okay, so next step would be x plus 3 square minus 9 plus 11 would be equals to plus 12. And this one would be the final answer for part A. Okay, for part B, they want us to sketch the curve with the equation y equals to x squared plus 6x plus 11. Okay, so all we have to do is to draw the graph first. This one will be y and this one will be x. And all we know is the turning point would be minus 3 and 2. And the values stick with the right hand side would be same as the y coordinate. So the turning point would be somewhere around here, negative 3 and 2. And the y-axis, the y coordinate would be when x is equals to 0. So when I put x equals to 0, 0 plus 3 would be 3, 3 squared would be 9, 9 plus 2 would be 11. So it would be somewhere around here. Okay. So the curve should look like this. And for the part C, they want us to find the value of discriminants of x squared plus 6x plus 11. Okay, so discriminant would be equals to b squared minus 4ac. And the next would be, as we all know, a would be 1, b would be 6, and c would be 11. So b would be 6 and 6 squared minus 4 ac, which is times 1 times 11. The final answer would be equals to 36 minus 4 times 11 would be 44. And the final answer would be negative 8. And this would be the final answer. Okay, for marking, it says 2 marks for the part A. So I guess 1 mark is for the working and 1 mark is for the final. And 2 marks for part B, and 1 mark is for the curve shape, and 1 mark for the clear intersection with coordinates axis. Okay, for part C, 2 marks for part C. The first mark will be the method, and another mark will be for the final.
Okay, let's do one more questions and we're done with this topic. For part A, they want us to show that p satisfies p squared minus 6p plus 1 greater than 0. Okay, so the keywords in this question is actually no real roots. Okay, so b squared minus 4ac would be smaller than 0, and b squared would be 4 squared minus 4ac, which is p minus 1 times p minus 5, which is smaller than 0. Okay, 4 squared would be equals to 16 minus to 4 times p squared minus 5p minus p and plus 5. 16 minus 4 times p squared minus 6p plus 5, close bracket, smaller than 0. 16 minus 4p squared, minus 4 times minus 6 would be equals to plus 24p minus, because minus 4 times 5 would be minus 20, smaller than 0. And here you have it with this equation of getting the value of 4 from this equation, which would be 4 minus p squared plus 6p minus 5 smaller than 0. Okay, to clean this up, minus p squared plus 6p, 4 minus 5 would be minus 1, smaller than 0. Okay, to change the sign, the direction of this arrow we have to change as well. So the final answer would be p squared minus 6p plus 1 would be greater than 0. Okay, for the part B, so all we have to do is to find the critical value of the p first. The only thing we can do is to use this equation here. Use this one. Okay, if I substitute b minus negative 6 plus or minus negative 6 square minus 4 times 1 times 1 over 2 times 1 equals to 6 plus or minus root 36 minus 4 would be 32 over 2. And I try to get the root 4 out from root 32. 6 plus or minus root 4 times 8, root 8 over 2. And the next step would be 6 divided by 2 would be 3 plus or minus root 4 would be equals to 2. 2 divided by 2 would be 1. So would be 3 plus or minus root 8. Okay. So the CV, all we know of P equals to 3 minus root 8 or 3 plus root 8. Okay, so we have to find the range now. If I put 2 dots here and a line graph, 3 minus root 8 and 3 plus root 8. And we all know that 3 plus root 8, okay, is larger than 3 minus root 8. So if I substitute any number that is between these two values here, this one here, okay, should be equals to 0.17. And this value here should be equals to 5.83. So we have to substitute the number to the P value with the value between 0.17 and 5.83. Okay, let's say substitute 1, okay? Put 1 to the P and let's see whether we get a positive sign or a negative sign of number. If I put 1 into it, 1 square, it would be equals to 1, minus 6 would be minus 5, plus 1 would be equals to minus 4. So no matter what number I put into P with the value between 0.16 to 5.83 would be a negative. So I will put negative sign here. And if I put any number that is smaller than 0.17, easy way, if I put 0, okay, 0 is smaller than 0.17, which would be around here. If I put 1 into it, I will get the number of 1. And 1 would be a positive number. And positive number would be positive sign. So I'll put positive sign here because I got positive value. And if I put any number that is greater than 5.83, let's say if I put 10, okay, 10 would be around somewhere right here. If I put 10 into it, 10 square would be 100, 100 minus 60 plus 1 would be equals to 41, okay. So 41 would be a positive number, and I put positive sign here. Okay, back to these questions here. They want us to find the set that is greater than 0. So what should we do? Greater than 0, so all the number that is negative should be cancelled out. Okay, so all we know is we want positive value. Positive and positive. Okay, so P is smaller than 3 minus root 8, or P would be larger than 3 plus root 8. And these two solutions will be the answer for the part B.